Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel AI Discoveries. So yeah, this is the continuation video of RAG chatbot where we have already talked about embeddings and the query on how we can perform a query on those vector data using LLM. So now once we are done with the development, we need to serve our application as an API. So first part is how we can make our application as an API, and then after that we need to deploy it. Now this is the third phase where we need to third phase of implementation. So let's talk about how we can actually create our serving as an API. So let's go to the Visual Studio Code. So here I'll be talking about the authentication. Even like when we are serving any application as an API, so we need to put some authentication. So today I'll be putting basic authentication into that, and then after that, once you provide the basic authentication user ID and password, then only you will be able to perform the query, put your query on it. So this is how we go that. So let's start with the uh, implementation. So obviously you can see here I'm using a fast API for creating a API. So here this is the secret, importing secret, which is basically coming from the fast API, and this is the fast API which we are using, the fast API HTTP exception status of it. And using the fast API we are also implementing the basic authentication. So fast API.security, we are actually kind of using that, and under that we are importing HTTP basics and HTTP basic credentials. And obviously this is UVCon where we are used to run our fast API application. So and this is the process conversation. If you see here in our last video we have talked about the FASTAPI chatbot and the process conversation. So here we are using this class, and we are importing into the our API, and we are actually after importing from the this class, from this file we are importing this function. So we will be using to once we are done with the basic authentication, we will be passing our query parameters to this function and fetch the response. So what we are doing is, the first step is to start with. So we will create the object of the fast API, and this is the object of the basic authentication HTTP basics. And now here what we are doing is we are using UTF encoded method to actually encode our the user ID and password while on fly communication from the server. So this is the credential dot username, and this is the correct user ID. This is the variable we have provided it. And so when user provide the user ID, it will come to this variable, and this is the correct data we have stored it for the comparison. And we are comparing using the fast API secret method, where we are there are many way of comparing, is like string comparing or this comparing, secret.compare.digest. In the string comparison, it is basically perform the string, and it is basically like let's suppose if half of the string is got match and half of the string got a mismatch. So for half of the message it will run fast, and for the next other half of the string it will say that no, it is not matching it. In that case, the hackers basically try understand that, okay, for when it is running fast, it will it means like half of the password is correct and half of the password is not correct. So in that case what they are doing is, half of the they will keep the half of the password, and then after that they will again attack on the time basis. So to reduce that, it is using we are using the tick method to perform this comparison. So this is basically the concept behind the fast API security. So this is one. Again, for the password, we the user will provide the user password provided will come to this, and this is the correct password we have defined it. And when we are comparing using the tick method, this is what. And then after that, this is the headers for the exceptions. Now what we are doing is we are doing the get activities. In the get activities, what we are using it, we are taking that user method. We are capturing that whether we already after the authentication, whether we got the user id or not. Based on that, we will be passing the query and fetch the information. Now the first process is like compare it, and if this is not comparing it, then and there itself it will say that okay, the user id is not acceptable, try again. Now once everything is authentication is completed, then only we are comparing whether we got the user id or not. So once we got that, we are actually calling this process function. So here is this is the process function, and this is the parameter we have, and we'll passing our query over here. And once we got the response, in return what we are doing is status code 200, and the response what we got in res variable, we will be sending it. Otherwise we are sending the 401 error if there is some exception, or there is some mismatch between the username. And this is what to run for the fast API application. So let me run through that. Once I run that Python, so obviously I activated my Python environment, and once I've run that, so now it is running on HTTP 127.10. So this is the host it is on running on, and this is the port it is working on. So let me just go to this point, and I'll just put that 127 docs. So this is the swagger file of the fast API. You can see that this is the get activities we are doing it, and this is the query parameter which is required for the parameter. Here it is asking for the authorize because we have not provided the authorization. Now let me check through the API using the postman. So you can see here this is the URL for the for the local host, and this is the port number, and this is the query parameters I have defined it. So here the query parameter, this is the input I am providing it, what is the inflation rate in India, and this is the authorization I'm passing it. You can see here this is the user ID I have defined it, and this is the password I have defined it. And let me just do the send activity and send and perform the get activities. Once I have done that, we'll see. So I have got the status 200, and yeah, so I got the status 200, and the response is basically India's inflation continues to be low, and this is the response I have got it from the backend. So this is how we perform the serving of our application as an API. So this is added with the basic authentication, and along with it is works as a fast API. Now the next part would be how we can put our deployment, put our application in Docker and deploy it. So there would be another video for the deployment. So basically we have the different stages of the implementation. First is development, then serving, and then obviously the deployment. So we are once we are done with this serving, we will deploy it to some server or some Docker container, so that we can pass it to the server. So yeah, I'll be taking another video for deploying it. So yeah, please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And obviously guys, please comment if you have any queries. I'll be there to help you. Thank you.